Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 18 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. I didn't get to talk very much at the beginning of that last episode, so just to give you guys some quick updates, basically, the last couple of weeks have been pretty hectic. I had final exams, I just finished up my first undergrad degree, so I moved out of college over in California, and I'm back home, as you can tell, in New York. And I'll be here for a couple of weeks, so hopefully in these next couple of weeks I'll be able to make some more videos. In addition, I was on a road trip for the last week or so, which is why I wasn't able to post anything. But now that I'm back for the next 3 weeks or so, I'm hoping to at least get a video out every other day, ideally daily if possible, especially if people are still interested. And I know we're at a kind of weird point in VGC right now where there aren't many events really going on, and the next major event isn't until, early July. That's NA Internationals, and then the World Championships over in August, but hopefully I can still at least use some entertaining and fun teams to watch and play with. So, yeah. I'm going to use this brand new Kommo-O team I've used for a couple of episodes, and I'll probably use it until maybe the middle to the end of the week, and then I'll switch to a brand new team. So if you have any suggestions for Pokemon teams or strats that you want to see, definitely let me know in the comments below. I am all ears. Anyway, we're going to get this episode started with a really interesting team composition. I think this one should be fun. So, as always, if you guys enjoy Road to Ranked, please share support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. Incineroar, Mawile, Milotic, that's not a Milotic, that's a Metagross, Mimikyu, Tapu Bulu, and Rotom Heat. So, tons of interesting stuff going on here. This really is not a good game for Kommo. I mean, Triple Fairy means that even getting the Z move off could be difficult. So, I think I'm going to have to go with Lele on this one. I feel like Milotic is still the best call. Like, it can deal decently with the physical attacks other than Bulu. I'm obviously worried about Bulu and Rotom Heat, but anytime I see a Mimikyu, I always obviously have to be worried about Trick Room as well. I could lead something like Gengar, Milotic, which covers most of my options, to be honest. The question is, do I bring Whimsicott or not? I think I might actually forego bringing it this game and go Lele, Gengar. Sorry, Gallade. The one thing I'm not the biggest fan of with what I chose here is that I don't have the best way to deny Trick Room. But if my opponent leads, the question is, what does my opponent lead to try to set up Trick Room? The other question is, does he or she bring in Incineroar or Mawile? Because Milotic is a really good matchup against both of those. If you don't bring either of those, then you're forced to bring faster Pokemon like Metagross or Rotom Heat, or even Tapu Bulu. On all those Pokemon, Milotic actually can underspeed under Trick Room, or outspeed under Trick Room. So I think this would be really interesting. And Incineroar, ooh, and Bulu comes out. That's pretty nice. That's actually really good. Because you can't fake out the Gengar. I just wonder if this is Scarf Bulu. Grassy Terrain does go first, but Bulu's faster normally anyway. Because if you are Scarf Bulu, then you're forced to switch out. If you're not Scarf Bulu, then you just go straight for an attack. Who do I have in the back again? I got Lele. So I think I'm actually just going to go straight for the Sludge Bomb into Bulu and the Scald. This is kind of, it's like, part of it is, obvious, why would my opponent just let me, go for the attack? But I'm hoping maybe my opponent thinks that I'm not Scarfed with Gengar, and I know Scarf Bulu is rising in popularity. It's just a Fake Out coming up, but that's fine. I mean, yeah, I just get the Sludge Bomb off. Which means I'm pretty sure that's Scarf Bulu. Nice. Which is actually half the reason why I created this Scarf Gengar set to begin with. I can't express how good of a position I'm in now, because I just knocked out the biggest threat to Milotic by far, and I got the competitive boost, and I didn't lose anything for that. So, yeah. Gengar once again doing big boy Gengar things and putting in work. I think Scarf Gengar actually makes a lot of sense for the meta right now. But there's a Mimikyu coming in, so that's fine. Yeah, it's an absolute unit of a lad. How do I want to approach this? I think I'd rather knock out Incineroar. Mainly because I'm worried about getting knocked off. I don't want to lose my berry. So I'm just going to double up on Incineroar right now. I don't know the item. I think even if it's Assault Vest, I get the knockout. He just stays in. Both Pokemon stay in. And I do outspeed. I hope this is enough to get the knockout. Okay, yeah. That looks like Assault Vest, though. So yeah, Incineroar is the bigger threat to my Milotic, which is why I wanted that knockout. Yeah, we just see a Play Rough come out. It actually does a lot of damage, but it increases my attack and gives me another competitive boost, so Milotic is feasting today. Yeah, I feel like this lead really countered most of the things my opponent could have brought. I was kind of worried about Rotom Heat, though. I think that was the one thing I would say. And a disconnection. I haven't seen a rage quit in a while. That could have just been my opponent's internet as well, but given how the game was going, you never know. Either way, yeah, we take those, definitely. Not much my opponent could have done after that, so yeah. We're gonna find Duff from New York for our second game of the day, and there's the Blastoise, so I'm excited for that one, because it's presumably Mega Blastoise. Although there is a potential Mega Metagross as well. Otherwise, pretty standard stuff. Lele, Zapdos, Landorus, Metagross. We've all seen that. Incineroar throwing onto that. Also not too crazy. How do I want to approach this? I'm thinking Whimsicott Gengar. Really fast lock-in for my opponent's end, too. This one's tough. Kommo-O actually could maybe make some sense. I always want to lead my low deck because I feel like so many people still lead Incineroar against me. Like Incineroar Zapdos, I could see that being a thing. Incineroar Metagross, maybe? That would be kind of bad, actually. But I can switch into Lele to block a Fake Out. This is tough. All 6 of my Pokemon are good in this matchup. I think I'm going to go Whimsicott, though. I'm going to go Whimgar. Yeah. Who do I want in the back? I think I like Layla a little bit more just because Shattered Psyche I think is really good here, and Z moving I think might be a little bit difficult in this game. And I'll bring Gallade. This is tough. I don't know about my Pokemon choice in this one. I feel like this is one of the team matchups where like all 6 of my Pokemon can do a lot of work. So in a best of 3, like I'd probably bring like 3 different combinations if I didn't find one that worked out really well in like games 1 or 2. But I like the Gengar lead mainly because I've got the Scarf gimmick. I like Whimsicott because I need to pressure my opponent's Zapdos' Tailwind. We see Lele Metagross. Okay. This is really interesting because I can Helping Hand Shadow Ball to get a knockout on either. Could also be Scarf Lele. If it were Scarf Lele, you probably just Psychic my Gengar. I'm far more concerned about my opponent's Metagross. I really want a Helping Hand Shadow Ball the Metagross. But if Metagross like targeted Whimsicott down, then I could have targeted down Lele. Yeah, I'm gonna go all in on this, I think. This is just kind of risky because I feel like Lele is more likely to be Scarfed, but it switches out, so that's a good start. Into Incineroar, okay. If Metagross doesn't protect, I'm gonna be in a phenomenal spot. If it does, then next turn will be kind of interesting. It is Mega Evolving, but I guess you should be Mega Evolving anyway. Because I don't have Intimidate on my team, yeah. Alright, does Metagross protect? Let's see. Oh, it doesn't. Does this get the knockout? I don't know about that. Oh, that is so satisfying. I love you, Scarf Gengar. Oh my goodness. This team is really fun to play with, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just love the shenanigans that Scarf Gengar can pull off. That is so nice, especially because it was Incineroar that switched into the Lele slot. So, that's a very, very nice turn. Especially with Lele coming out from my opponent, I am gonna go for the Tailwind here. I would think Knockoff is likely to come off, and Lele could protect. So if I want to read into that, I could just switch out into my Gallade. Because even though that was a great turn 1, this is still really far from over. I'm just worried about... Yeah, I don't think it's Scarf Lele. Actually, I think it's going to protect here. I really do want to switch into Gallade. But I think at this point I'm willing to take even trades, so even if Lele protects, and it doesn't. Oh, okay. It could be Timid Scarf though, which I think outspeeds me. Okay. And Shadow Ball. I love you, Modest Scarf Gengar. And Flare Blitz. That's targeting Whimsicott, isn't it? So I guess my opponent was expecting me to maybe switch out. I mean, yeah, now the game's definitely over. Yeah, I thought, like, my opponent maybe stood a chance that last turn, but I don't know what Lele set that was. Not a bad play if you're expecting Gengar to maybe switch out, but Zapdos is going to come out. Yeah, it's not going to do anything to me at this point, and I can just go for Fake Tears. Or not even Fake Tears, sorry. Endeavor. So I'm going to Endeavor Zapdos and Shadow Ball Zapdos because I outspeed Incineroar. This team was built around Kommo and Gallade, but I have not even... Oh, that was kind of dumb. I shouldn't have targeted the same Pokemon. Wow, that does so much. My opponent's Pokemon just, like, are not bulky then, I guess. The Zapdos goes for Heat Wave. So, I'll lose both of my Pokemon here, but that's fine. They've more or less done their job. I mean, they definitely have done their job. Yeah, I think turn 1 put me in a really good spot, but, like, the thing I was worried about turn 2, let's say Lele protects and Incineroar targets down my Gengar, then I can only bring in one of Lele or Gallade, and I'd probably bring in Gallade, but if I bring in Gallade, then maybe I knock out your Incineroar, but then the Lele threatens my Gallade with the Psychic, and that maybe might knock me out. Main issue is I didn't have great ways to deal with my opponent's Lele outside of Helping Handing boosted attacks. But a Helping Hand Moonblast and a Helping Hand Zen Headbutt probably bring it to like 75 or 80%. I don't think, sorry, it does that much damage. I don't think it'd actually get the knockout. So that was the other main concern, because I couldn't Fake Tears. So even though this game looked really good, it could have been completely different if my opponent did go for the Protect with Lele. I'm just going to Shattered Psyche, guarantee the knockout, through a Protect or anything, Mega Evolve, Close Combat. So, yeah. Like, even though Scarf Gengar has looked really good the last couple of episodes, it's still really volatile, I think, and I've just been on some fortunate ends of predictions, but I don't feel like that's, like, me... Like, I put myself in positions where it's like, okay, if I call it correctly, then I'm up huge, but imagine if I called any of those incorrectly. It would have been pretty ugly, honestly. However, I will say getting a super effective close combat off is like one of the most satisfying feelings you can have in this game. So, yeah, Gallade will pick up a knockout there on Incineroar. Of course, part of the reason why I wanted to use Gallade is because it can give Incineroar a fair amount of trouble, you know, with close combat. So, gonna get a double knockout here. Maybe we can fit in 4 games today, because that first game wasn't actually really a game. But either way, Scarf Gengar once again proving itself to be a very big boy and putting in the work. And that's surprising, yeah. You can see though, like, yeah, it's harder for me to bring Kommo into a lot of these matchups, mainly because it's so anti-Kommo. But as a result, the other members of my team can at least help me out a little bit with that, where it's like, oh, like, you have a lot of fairy types, you know, what's perfect for that? A Scarf Gengar, which just outspeeds all of you. Lele with the Shattered Psyche is actually really nice too, because most fairies, like, what are you going to be using? Bulu, Coco, for example, Feeny, like, Shattered Psyche... Even if it doesn't knock out any of those, of course it'll knock out Coco, maybe even Bulu if you have Terrain up, but you'll still do a lot of damage, and so that's really good damage output as well. And you're forced more or less to bring your fairies when you're going up against a Kommo, so you can, as a result, leave it on the bench. Hey, we're going to find Matt from Florida with a rating of 15-14 for our third opponent of the day, running pretty cool team. Xurkitree, Kartana, Landorus, Incineroar, and then the double fairies with Feeny and Gardevoir. So... this is definitely a Gengar lead, I think. Question is, who do I put next to him? I like Whimsicott here, I think. The question of whether to bring Kommo or not is tough in this one, because I feel like my opponent should bring Gardevoir and Feeny. I would bring Gardevoir, Feeny, Xurkitree, Kartana, because I wouldn't want the double Intimidate, but Incineroar is still decent here. Let's say my opponent does go with that, though. And I feel like Whimgar is quite good. Definitely with Gallade and Lele. Alright, I locked in pretty fast. I don't know about that one. But Whimsicott Gengar has not done me wrong yet today. And... Kommo just... yeah, I mean... like, the scariest thing, I think, about facing double fairy is that you can actually completely deny Kommo of setting up. Because if you have both fairies out, then the Z move actually just doesn't work and you don't even get the boosts. And the fact that you can just waste the Z move like that and then have a Pokemon that's pretty much dead weight against 2 fairies is really, 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 really bad news. Whereas if it was like 1 fairy, it's like, okay, I can maybe play my way around it and still get the Z move up. But with 2, I feel like it's more or less likely that my opponent brings both fairies as well, but I guess we'll see. The frustrating thing always about Milotic is it's like, oh, like, there's sometimes games where you don't bring in and your opponent brings like both Intimidators or one, and you're just like, oh, what the heck. Either for them expecting you to leave my low deck on the bench or just not wanting to, like, willing to deal with it. So we'll see whether that comes out or not, because I think you leave Landorus on the bench. And it is Zerk Fini. Okay, that's a good start at least. Now this is interesting already. I don't know the Zerkatree's item. I want a Fake Tier Sludge Bomb Zerk. Because obvious, like, Fini here must think, okay, I should protect. Yeah, I'm going to double up on Zerkatree. I'm also worried about an Electric Z move onto Gengar. If Fini stays in and attacks, that'll be impressive. But I guess you also could do that expecting Gengar to just not knock you out. But it protects. Nice. Okay. I don't know if Fake Tears plus Sludge Bomb is enough to knock out Zerkatree, though. But we'll see. That would be nice. That would be a really good start for me. Woo! Let's go! Gengar is putting in work once again. I'm telling you guys, don't count out Whimsicott Scarf Gengar. The strat actually works. Cortana, yep. Yep. So, I presume it's Gardevoir in the back, which means I'm actually in a really phenomenal spot. I'm not going to Tailwind this turn because I actually don't need the speed immediately, so I'm just going to double up onto the Fini with the Fake Tears and a Sludge Bomb. Cortana shouldn't be able to knock out Gengar. It could maybe go for a Tailwind, Z-Tailwind, Smart Strike onto Whimsicott or Gengar. Yep, Fini switches out. Show me Gardevoir. Oh, it's actually Incineroar. So Gardevoir didn't come out. Interesting. Yeah, so I'm surprised Fini came out over Gardevoir, but I guess Fini's actually better against my team, so that shouldn't be too surprising. So that's a nice play. I actually should have Helping Hand Sludge Bomb specifically because Incineroar could have been in the back. And there's Tailwind from Cortana, yeah. That's fine, though. I'm going to go into Lele to block a potential Fake Out and then get my own Tailwind up. Yeah, I'm still not in a great, like, I'm in an okay position, but it's still very far from over. Upside is that Gallade is really good against my team. Downside is that Whimsicott's pretty useless after here. And I really should have Helping Handed, specifically because Incineroar could have switched in. With that Helping Hand, then Incineroar would have been in KO range from a Moonblast or another Sludge Bomb. So that was a slight misplay on my end. No need to go for the Fake Tears, because if Fini stays in, I'm getting that knockout anyway. So even though Turn was good, as is the case a lot of the time with this team, Whimsicott does lose a lot of momentum if it's not really doing much. I also just switched in a Lele into a potential Smart Strike, but normally if you run Tailwind, you're giving up Smart Strike for Protect, Leaf Blade. There's the Protect. Okay, that's good. Ideally, he just Flare Blitzes Cortana. I mean, Whimsicott here. But it might be a knockoff into the Lele, which I'd also be okay with. Yeah, it looks like it is knockoff. That's fine. Now presumably Leaf Blade comes out. Yeah, I want the Whimsicott to be down to its Sash. So I'm going to Protect. Haven't revealed Endeavor yet. They don't want to reveal anything else. I think I'll still go for... do I want to reveal Endeavor? I kind of like it just to give, like, scare my opponent a little bit. That might seem weird, but I feel like it actually might be okay here. I'll go for it onto Cortana. Either way, basically, I'm stalling out my opponent's Tailwind here to give me one extra turn. And I want my Whimsicott down to its Sash. Yep, there's Leaf Blade. Show me Flare Blitz into... Excellent. As long as I don't get burned here, this is really good. If I get burned, it's going to be kind of ugly. Nice. Okay. So presumably another Leaf Blade's going to come out. I'm just going to go out into Gengar here. Actually, I might want to conserve Gengar, just so it can sweep everything with Sludge Bomb in the late game. Yeah, I'm just going to go for... I think I want to go for a double Protect here, because... No, I don't want to. I want to Moonblast Incineroar, because that covers all my options. Cortana here could choose to Detect, and if it did, then I just knock out Incineroar. If it knocks out Lele, then I bring Kartana down to 1 HP, Incineroar knocks me out, but then I get 2 free switch-ins, and I've got the speed advantage. Yeah, I think that's the correct way to approach this. Yeah, okay. That's fine. There's Leaf Blade, that's fine. Ooh, target's Whimsicott, okay. That should seal up the game. Actually, Moonblast might not knock out the Incineroar, we'll see. I was also worried about, like, Speed Boost Kartana, but you should be plus attack most of the time. Oh, wow, that's not AV Incineroar, and it survives Moonblast? That one's kind of annoying. Only reason is if I get that knockout, I just Z-move on my last turn through Protect, get the guaranteed knockout. I think I still win here, though, with Gallade and Gengar, but that actually makes this a little bit scarier, honestly. Kind of annoyed that it did survive, but oh well. Nice play. Let's see. Yeah, so I actually, like, this feels like a game I really should have comfortably won, but Incineroar surviving with that sliver of HP turns this into a much tougher game. It's the last turn of Tailwind. I'm Scarf, so I have to lock myself into an attack. We know Feeny has Protect. Like, the question is what I lock myself into right now. Glade's base at 10, 110, so it is faster than Kartana still. I don't know if Sludge Bomb knocks out Incineroar. This is close. This is where the Helping Hand misplay actually is coming to bite me. I'm gonna go for the Sludge Bomb and the Ice Punch into Kartana. No switch outs. No switch outs is surprising. Maybe, I think I maybe should have doubled up onto Incineroar, because if Sludge Bomb doesn't knock out, I actually lose the game. Yeah, I could have doubled up onto Incineroar. I should have. Please be enough to knock it out. Oh, thank you. Okay. Still not over, though. But I don't think Feeny can one-shot me, which is the good thing that I've got going for me. Back it on the field. I'm just going to Sludge Bomb it and go for the Ice Punch. Kartana could go for the double, though, which is scary. Yeah, like, that's where the misplay of not going for a Helping Hand earlier came to bite me. Because I think with Helping Hand... Alright, he fails the double, nice. It's still not over, though, but I don't think Feeny can do enough at this point. That Sludge Bomb also does a ridiculous amount. Jeez, 90%. Yeah, there's no point in trying to double up Feeny there, because another one will knock out anyway. And I need to deny Kartana. Like, in case, let's say I doubled up onto Feeny and Kartana actually tries to Tailwind, then that would be really bad. Oh, Feeny Calm Minds. Okay, yeah, so this game is over now. But yeah. Like, when I went for the fake tears, I mean, what else did my opponent have? Landorus? It was going to be Incineroar or Gardevoir in the back, so Helping Hand is always better there. So you can see sometimes how, like, those small things that you don't really think about can actually be really crucial in the game. Because that actually would have been really bad for me. Either way, even at +1, you're not knocking out either of my Pokemon. So I should have Ice Punched there just to guarantee hitting, but Glade will finish it off, and we'll get another win. And this has been a fast episode, since that first game didn't really count as a game, so I'll play one more game today. Scarf Gengar has just been the MVP by far, though. It has set all the members of this team up for success, but Whimsicott, I think, is actually paired very, very nicely with it. I think, I just like being able to play with Whimsicott Gengar, but not using, like, the Mega Gengar Whimsicott combination that we see all the time, and, yeah. I feel like Helping Hand, I didn't get to demonstrate how good it can be as much previously, but this episode it's definitely put in some work. It should have even put in more work if I didn't misplay, but, that it is what it is. Either way, we're on a pretty nice win streak with this team so far, so let's see if we can keep it up. I think, definitely have been running into some decent matchups, and Scarf Gengar, guys, try it out. it does like paired really nicely with Whimsicott too. But once again, I keep praising it, but I think it also has it has a ton of weaknesses. There are a lot of games where it's like, oh, if I don't call it correctly, not only do I lose Gengar, Whimsicott's still dead weight. I only have one offensive member to bring in. So I've just been fortunate enough that turn ones have worked out for me pretty decently while using it so far. But yeah, I'm just sad Kommo hasn't really come out, but I guess all the other Pokemon get to shine a little bit more, which is nice. That last game was interesting that my opponent decided not to bring the Gardevoir. But I think that makes sense in the sense that, like, Feeny is bulkier and you can take a Sludge Bomb easier. I think Feeny's bulkier than Gallade, right? Or, sorry, Gardevoir. Especially with Calm Mind. Other than that, I mean, yeah, I feel like Gardevoir is still pretty decent against my team. But that's just me. Incineroar actually helped my opponent more. Like, if it were Gardevoir, that game was instantly over after turn 1. Unless you get a double with Feeny. It's the only way you can even keep yourself in it. But, yeah, Feeny switched out there. Let's say Gardevoir came in, then Gardevoir would faint. I'd be up 4-2, I'd still have Tailwind, and I have Psychic Terrain and Gallade in the back. So, yeah. Well, let's see, just see who we get next. We're going to find Levi from Japan with a rating of 1579 for our last opponent of the day, running a rain team that I believe is... I'm trying to remember all 6 of Carson Comfort's team. Carson, of course, won the internationals over in Brazil. He had Politoed instead of Pelipper. But otherwise, yeah, you know, he's got Scizor, Coco. He had Landorus as well instead of Incineroar. So, slight differences, but definitely, I would say, a team inspired off Carson's team. Carson, easily one of the best players. I'd really say him, Alberto Lara, and Ashton Cox are the best NA players this season. It's just been incredible throughout. So he had a really cool, innovative rain team. That was really fun. And he did win the Sao Paulo International with that. So, how do I want to approach this? Dual Steals is quite scary for me, I think. Scarfgar is decent, but I gotta worry about Hydro Vortex turn 1 immediately. I could just go Whimsicott Lele, though, to try to get a Tailwind up immediately. I actually really don't like this matchup. Whimsicott Gengar? What do I do? What do I do? I'm actually considering my Lodic. This is... I really don't know. Whimsicott Lele. Kommo Gengar? What am I doing? I don't like that at all. I feel like I should have thought about my rain matchup, specifically against Carson's team more as well, because that is some team that I would say if I'm going into a tournament I'd expect to go up against and face. So, yeah, not the best decision making there by me just now, but we'll see how it goes. I think the thing that's really important with this team is, like, every turn there's so much momentum that can swing your favor. We do just see the rain combo of Pelipper and Ludi, so upside is you can't fake me out turn 1. Downside is, like, you just go straight for the Hydro Vortex with Ludi onto Lele and Tailwind. That's probably the safest play. So why the heck did I lead with this then? Like, what am I trying to get out of here? Yeah, I'm gonna Tailwind. Do I even need a Tailwind turn 1? I don't think so, because... Yeah, I don't think I actually should Tailwind, because if anything, Pelipper is gonna Tailwind and Ludi's gonna Z-move into Lele. The only downside is if Pelipper for some reason doesn't Tailwind and goes for the Hurricane into Whimsicott. And then it's like, oh, if I Tailwind, then I can Z-move Ludi next turn. I think I'm actually going to try to conserve Tailwind and outstall my opponent by 1 turn. The goal is to get Kommo out in this game. Oh, what the heck am I doing? I'm so bad. I was bound to mess that up today. I mean, this doesn't really actually matter much, because I still want Tailwind to go up next turn anyway, but... Boop. There's the Vortex, yep. He actually did Hurricane! What? Now I'm really... Yeah, I guess I should have just Tailwinded. I really thought you should Tailwind, like, all the time there with Pelipper. But maybe you're worried about Taunt. The other question now I have is this Hydro Pump? Yeah, if I Tailwinded turn 1, I actually would have been in a really good spot. Though I try to, like, be clever there. I don't regret it too much, but could have been cleaner. If this is Scald Ludi, maybe you don't knock me out, but it is Hydro Pump, and it does connect. Okay. So this Pelipper, Tailwind or Hurricane. Now, this is interesting, because I got Tailwind now, and he does not get his speed control up, so I can actually still do this. Despite being down 4-2 and not doing any damage to my opponent. I think I'm going to lock myself into Sludge Bomb despite my opponent having 2 Steel types, because my Kommo can deal with the Steel types decently well. So I'm going to go for the Z move here and Sludge Bomb the Ludi. I should have just Tailwind protected turn 1, I guess. I really wanted that extra turn of Tailwind. But is that really worth it? I think it's only worth it if I was 100% sure my opponent was Tailwinding that first turn. Okay, no, Ludi doesn't switch out, which is good. That's a knockout there for sure. Now, Pelipper should be Sash, but if for some reason it isn't, that would be incredible. Even still, ideally it Tailwinds, my opponent brings out Coco, and I just cheese with Scarf Gengar. That's the ideal situation right now. Of course, the move is copyrighted, so I'll see you guys after the animation. Okay, there's the Focus Sash on Pelipper. That much is not surprising. I will get the boosts. Now what does Pelipper go for? He could just attack here too instead of Tailwinding. Hey, he just scalds. Ah, is that enough to knock me out? No burn, please. Okay. Is this happening? Is this gonna happen? I'm gonna guess he has one of the priority users in the back, and now without terrain. Like, you'd have to misplay so hard here. You just protect and switch out. So... I don't have any outs. Yeah, I think ah, man. I'm so angry about that first turn. I try to get really clever, and my opponent hasn't even gone for Tailwind, so I don't even know if it has Tailwind, honestly. But the Scald there is a good play. I'm gonna go for a Flamethrower and a Sludge Bomb. Oh man, if I just did that, I mean, yeah, doing that the other way around would have been tough. That was like, why are you switching? Unless it's Specs Coco. Otherwise, you should protect Coco. You just protect Coco and sack Pelipper. I think that's the better play. Because there, my opponent risked getting knocked out by a Flamethrower, but I guess it's relatively unlikely I'm gonna go for. I mean, yeah, now you just Bullet Punch and I lose. This was a frustrating game for sure. It is the last turn of Rain. So maybe I hope to crit Coco after the Rain's over. Or if for some reason my opponent doesn't Bullet Punch Gengar, but you really should. Yeah, I didn't want to Tailwind turn 1, like I said, because I wanted that extra turn of Tailwind, but I don't think that was worth it. I should have just Protect Tailwinded. That would have covered all my options. Yeah, there's the Bullet Punch. I also had a chance to win this last turn if I actually Flamethrower the Coco Slaw and Sludge Bomb Pelipper. Well, I guess if Flamethrower doesn't knock out, then it doesn't make a difference, but... I don't know if it would have knocked out regular Scizor. Hard to say. But I played bad this game. Or I feel like, yeah, I mean... Let's say I protect... The risk versus reward on my turn 1 play just wasn't good enough, I guess. Because if my opponent doesn't go for the Tailwind, then I'm in a really bad... Obviously, I blundered by going for the Fake Tears onto Ludi too, but that actually doesn't end up mattering. So, yeah, if I just protect Tailwind turn 1, then the next turn I can actually just Z-move the Ludicolo. And... Z-move Ludi. Fake Tears Pelipper. And it's like, even if you get your own Tailwind up, then I am just far ahead enough at that point. So, yeah. Like, my opponent, I feel like, should be Tailwinding there, and as a result, like, I expected that, but I didn't consider all the options well enough, and I got punished really heavily for it. So that was my bad. I thought I was pretty safe to make that play that I did turn 1. So Gengar Kommo almost pulled it out. Nice play on my opponent's end, definitely, though, to go for the Scald instead of a Tailwind with that Pelipper. That was a really nice play, I thought. And then I think it was kind of risky to switch out Coco. But if it was Specs Coco, then that play makes perfect sense. That's the only play would have worked. So had an out there if I consider that as well by going for a Flamethrower onto the Coco slot. But yeah, ultimately I just got outplayed this game. I tried to get fancy or I didn't even try to get fancy. I think the play I make like still is okay, but it's just not as good as Protect Tailwinding turn 1. Yeah, I was just so sure my opponent would Tailwind, and that came to bite me. But yeah, really nicely done on my opponent's end for sure. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. We got a bunch of games in, a lot of fun ones. That last one definitely learned a couple of lessons from. Rain, not exactly the best matchup to deal with, mainly because I'm playing from behind, because I'm slower, and normally, like, Scarf Gengar can outspeed most things. So, yeah. But a fun one in that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. As always, if you did, please share support by leaving a like. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Alright.